And we can see ourselves again.
Yay.
Which
So
means
this is
we're live.
the 30-second delay.
This is us living the dream, man.
Beautiful.
Living the dream. We're going to give everybody, hey, for the folks that have tuned in, we're going to give you a little bit of time to get a cup of coffee. Ask your kids to get you a cup of coffee. If you're in Europe,
like I did,
drink a beer. What time is it? 11 o'clock. Yes, you can drink. You can officially drink if you're in the UK or Europe right now. We had folks from Johannesburg on the show yesterday. We had folks from, all over the place, all over the world. Somebody from New Zealand tuned in.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. in the comments. So
favorites.
Sam, favorite international city to travel to? Go.
Ooh. Man, that's tough. London's my second home. I do love Paris. I love Amsterdam. I love Copenhagen. I actually had a good time in Warsaw. I love Istanbul. That's a crappy question, Derek.
I would say that's a crappy answer. That's for favorite. You got it off like 8.
Anywhere that's not Jacksonville, Florida, man.
Okay.
I'm dying. Okay, so everybody watching this, let's go ahead and start this now. Count how many times I touched my face during this damn video. Because yesterday when I did this and I watched it back, I thoroughly got depressed. And I'm almost decided to wear a face mask during this thing because I touched my damn face. Derek, you can just yell at me. Every time you see me touch my face, yell at me because this is getting ridiculous. Hello, everybody that's joined. Good to see you. Glad you're here. And Charles Potts is in the house. Charles is the Chief Innovation Officer at ICBA. He is going to ask incredibly good questions. We love us some Charles Potts. Folks, thanks for joining. Again, good morning to you, Charles. And Kyle Bazzi. Kyle Bazzi is monitoring this from Detroit, who works with Autobooks. And I know Kyle's dying because he's not on the camera right now.
That's right.
But we love you, Kyle. All right. He actually showed up. He showed up with his hat on backwards, so we told him there's no way he's allowed.
Yeah, his light shines too bright. We needed some screen time ourselves. We can't have Kyle on here stealing our shine.
Kyle Bazzi is the Lady Gaga of FinTech. All right.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. That was just for you, Kyle. All right, let's get started. Morning, folks. Welcome to the third episode of FinTech Insider, the Breakfast Show US. This is the show from the folks at 11FS. We're bringing you some of the interesting insights into the FinTech and banking landscape every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For British friends, that is 4 p.m. Do you love how I enunciate Derek as I do this, as I read the script?
I do.
Thank you. I am Sam Maule. I'm the 11FS Managing Director in North America. I'll be your host for this morning's show. The idea is that we're seeing, we all know we're cooped up. All right. Actually, the city I live in, Jacksonville, just went on a mandatory shutdown, all non-essentials today. Go figure. So we're all going to be cooped up for the next couple of weeks, months. We don't know how long. So we thought we'd try to give you something to start your day off bright, keep you entertained and informed, and let's keep the sense of community going that 11FS loves so much with our global audience. So today we're thrilled to be joined by Derik Sutton. Derik's the Vice President of Product and Experience from Autobooks. We'll be talking about who Autobooks is, who Derik is. We're going to focus a lot on small businesses because Autobooks focuses a lot on small businesses. So with that, Derik, let's start with you. One, I believe you're in Dallas right now, right?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Sam. How are you?
I am doing well. How is Dallas? It's hot as hell in Jacksonville, so I'm guessing it's rather warm.
Man, it's been great. I mean, as far as being cooped up, we couldn't have better weather. So, like low 70s most of the time. This weekend had a little bit of rain, and man, Dallas is great. It's beautiful to be able to walk around the neighborhood at this point in time, given the pandemic and all. But the weather's nice.
Amazon delivered our 2-person pool for the backyard that I'm
did they?
Set up later today, and then I'm sure the community board will send me a cease and desist. Which I'll ignore. I know it's like throw it in the back. Over. And hey, Stuart, thanks for joining from Edinburgh. There you go, Derek. You asked me my favorite city I like to travel to. I'm gonna go with Edinburgh.
Going with Edinburgh, huh?
I love me some Edinburgh. I love it. It just is. It's one of my favorite places in the world. All right, so Derek, for everybody that's watching this, can you kind of give us the quick down and dirty? Who is Autobooks? Who are your customers? What is it you focus on? What do you do?
Sure. So Autobooks is a small business banking platform that enables small businesses to simply enroll, sign up, start sending invoices, paying bills, performing basic accounting tasks. But most importantly, what Autobooks is it's a way to integrate small business engagement inside of the banks and credit unions' digital banking channel. So with Autobooks, a bank or credit union can enable small businesses to enroll online, start accepting credit card, debit card payments, and ACH-based payments within minutes. So think about today's world. Think about the need for business owners that their world's really been turned upside down, and face-to-face interactions are limited. And you have a lot of businesses that really relied upon having to meet people in person to do business, whether that be, we all hear the stories of the restaurants and things of that nature, but there's a lot of service workers that people aren't allowing inside of their homes now to continue, maintenance work. And so there's consultants, there's freelancers, there's people that were typically on site at businesses, maybe doing web consulting or design consulting. And so all of these independent contractors, laborers, they're impacted by this as well. And in many cases, they hadn't yet taken the leap towards digital payments, And quite frankly, banks and credit unions haven't enabled those types of services inside their digital banking channel. And so Autobooks is just standing in the place to help that. We want to help business owners get paid online, but we also, we're bank friendly, we're pro bank. We want that integrated or partnered with the banking channel.
I love that. We're pro bank.
Yep, we are.
Nothing wrong with being pro bank. I mean, I think we've definitely moved past that time where it was the fintechs against the banks, right? And,
that's right.
Thank God we moved beyond that, especially in the times that we're in right now. One of the reasons I love Autobooks, Derik is in Dallas, but Autobooks has an incredibly large presence in my hometown of Detroit. Do you not, Derik?
Yes, we do. We founded in Detroit proudly. So Steve Robert, Aaron Schmid, the co-founders, built a tremendous business previously in the Detroit area. And I got to know Steve through AFT and through some other memberships and kind of community fintech organizations. And, when Steve, we first started talking, he was talking about Detroit. And, I'll just be honest, as an outsider and maybe as many Americans, it's like, you guys are in Detroit, I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend a good chunk of my time in Detroit. I go there and it's awesome. Our office is downtown. We're catty corner to the Comerica building. The town is blowing up. It's being revitalized, but in, I would say, a good way, because what I see in Detroit is a lot of diversity, and I see a lot of, not just true gentrification where, it's all of a sudden things get blown up and now it's just a shinier version of a new neighborhood. But I see the people that were in the neighborhood still involved, which I love. And so I love to go to Detroit, love to spend time there. It's becoming a bit of a fintech hub, and we hope Autobooks is kind of the shining star in that.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in the Detroit area. I left when I was 17, but I still have family that's there. My niece, Rachel, had better be dialed into this because I just gave you a shout out, Rachel. My genius niece, who works for IBM Watson out of Chicago, but is self-quarantining. Yeah, right out of University of Michigan. First job, okay. IBM Watson. Yeah. She's much smarter than everyone else in the family. And none of us know why, because I watched Rachel as she was raised. It makes no sense. Love you, Rachel. But I did. I grew up in Detroit. When I lived in the UK, when I left, don't judge me because this T-shirt was given to me, but my team in the UK actually gave me the shirt I'm wearing right now. Beautiful. So there you go. There you go. Love them. Mark Arnold and the team in the UK. Thank you for that great going away presence. And I'm glad you like that, Kyle Bazzi. All right. So an incredibly hot topic right now, because this is this customer group that you really focused on. SMBs, small to medium-sized businesses in the U.S. These are companies that are typically well under 500 people. Actually, the majority of them are 1 or 2 people.
Vast majority.
Vast majority. Incredibly a small.
So, I mean, you know me, Sam. I'm just going to jump in with some stats and facts. 30.7 million small businesses in the U.S., according to the SBA. 80% of those are basically solopreneurs. So just one-person shops. Of the remaining 20% of small businesses in the U.S., 80% of those have less than 4 people. So when we talk about small business, one of the things to remember, these are the people that are running the business out of the cab of their truck. They are just managing on their MacBook in the coffee shop. So small business is really, it has a singular impact to people, and that are managing families, and not only trying to build a business, but that business is the sole breadwinner, in many cases, into these families. So I just want to level set with that. There's also a growing number, so the 30.7 million small businesses. There's a really cool company called MBO Partners, and you'll geek out on this, Sam, but they track the independent workforce in the U.S. economy. And so what they're doing is they're actually—
owe me a link. You owe me a link.
Yeah, I'll put that in after you start going. So MBO Partners, I love, because they aggregate all of these sources, and they're trying to track independent workers in the U.S. economy. And they estimate that there's upwards of 40.1 million what they call independent workers in the U.S. economy. Gig workers, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, freelancers, people that are temporary on-call workers. This isn't just people that are doing Uber and Instacart and things like that. I mean, this is truly people that are kind of starting to manage side hustles, maybe trying to come out of a gig and into a new gig. But I love that term, independent worker versus gig economy, because they truly are just their own independent entity when it comes to managing and running a business. So for us, we always look at kind of that combination of 30.7 million small businesses, 41 million independent workers. There's probably some overlap there, but it's a big chunk of the U.S., right? Big market.
It's a massive chunk of the U.S. that right now is being massively impacted by what globally we're all going through. But it's really the U.S. I mean, I think it's easy to say we've become the epicenter, the numbers that we're seeing. And I said this just at the start of the show, where I live in Jacksonville, the mayor just ordered a stay-at-home policy, which I'm glad is implemented. Our governor, we're still waiting. But as far as the city that I live in, we're now shut down. So that's not on all essential businesses as of midnight tomorrow. So think about that. Those, that massive number of small businesses you just talked about, they're significantly impacted. And I want to give a shout out, because right before this show started, I went on Twitter and said, all right, anybody have great resources on for small business owners and independent entrepreneurs and startups when it comes to the loans and grants and the stimulus package that was passed. And Jill Castilla, who was our first guest on Monday, of course, sent me a link. We all love Jill. There's a local incubator, accelerator in Oklahoma City called Stitch Crew that has put together an Airtable board. How fintechy do we sound? But you put together a list in Airtable, and I've already put that link out on LinkedIn. I'll do it on Twitter also for everybody. She has already like 72 resources, so links you can go to learn about the loans and the grants. Because flat out, and Derik, you know this, while we passed an incredible multi-trillion-dollar stimulus package in Congress and the president signed it, the reality is the details in there are we're making those up every day. That's the reality of what we're going through. And so to understand what those impacts are to you, what you can apply for and what you can't, they're tough. And we've got a couple of links that I'll send out. It's called the CARES Act. So it's the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act that was passed. Small businesses can start applying April 3rd. So when is that? Today's the 1st? Friday. Wow, I can do math. So on April 3rd, small businesses can start to apply and receive loans to cover their payroll and other qualifying expenses. But again, the details behind this, it's rough. I'll give you, and for our listeners, I almost touched my face, and Derik, you've touched your face 3 times. I'm holding a pencil, so I won't touch your face.
Yes,
3 times.
Buddy. This is hard. This is hard.
For the folks that are watching, please do put in the comments every time Derik touches his face. Wade Arnold, oh God, and Derik, you're screwed because Wade Arnold is on right now.
I talked to him last night. He,
Wade Arnold is a legend when it comes to fintech. He'll actually be a guest on one of these shows coming up shortly. We love Wade. Wade actually founded a company called Banno that was sold to Jack Henry that I believe Derik worked at.
I did.
And Wade is a legend. The only reason Wade hasn't caught the virus is he grew a mountain man beard that nothing can get through. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's impenetrable. It's been impenetrable.
Yeah.
Can I say that word? Can I say that? I don't think I can.
The rest of us wear masks. He wears a Colorado beard.
He wears a beard.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's one of the smartest dang people I know. Actually, when Wade is on, we might have a third person there. you know how normally you have the folks that do sign language and translate for everybody?
Oh yeah,
I'll probably have someone who's translating on a whiteboard and
That
very
was
graphics what Wade is saying.
that was actually my official title at Banno, Wade Translator. Like
And
that was half of my job.
100% understand that. For those that are watching on LinkedIn, please comment one on every time Derik touches his face.
Yes.
And I have a scoreboard going. It's Derik 3, Sam 0 right now.
Yep.
But also, if you have questions, what we did yesterday, if you have a question or we're talking about something, somebody asked what furlough meant, for example, in the U.S. and what the difference is between unemployment and furlough. We'll go out and we will ping you after this is done. We'll message you and we'll answer every single question, guaranteed. The links we'll send out. So if you have something, put them in the comments. We will address those and get back to you on these. So when you look at what's happening with Autobooks, you obviously already work remotely from Dallas, with the company based in Detroit. How is Autobooks handling the whole COVID pandemic right now? Are you guys working remote, I'm assuming, at this time?
Yeah, 100% remote at this point in time.
Yeah.
We were founded in 2017. So even though we have a great home office or headquarters in the Madison building in downtown Detroit, beautiful facility, but just modern tools, right? Started in 2017. We're 100% on Microsoft Teams, virtual meetings, so that even when the team members were out of the office, every time they join in, they're essentially joining a virtual meeting. Our technology team has stood up the ability for us to communicate and work with one another, but most importantly, set up the facilitation and ability for us to support financial institutions and small businesses. So prime example, Sam, the COVID-19 announcements started to shelter at home or safer at home, shelter in place kind of movement came. And our team essentially took that as a rallying cry for businesses. And part of that rallying cry was we started to see it's strange because at this point in time, our business is growing because businesses need online payments. So it's a weird tension. It's like protect the team, make sure we're set up well, make sure they're taken care of, make sure that we're not in this weird way being opportunistic with this, but it truly is like we're providing a service that's really needed. You talked about the CARES Act and the loans coming. The reality is that this minute, this hour, this day, businesses need to get paid. And they can't necessarily wait for funds to come in. They can't wait for a check. And they need to get paid today. And so we enable businesses to be able to come in online, sign up, enroll, and get paid within minutes. So you can imagine when we put that message out to our banks and their SMB customers, it took off. Our onboarding team, largely headquartered in Austin, Texas. Shout out Kevin. So Kevin's nickname is actually Hot Tub. He runs the group down in Austin. So
I'm
Sam,
so happy right now. We got Lady Gaga. We got Hot Tub. What do they call Derik? Kyle.
We'll let them. Yeah, we'll see what comes. So, anyways, Chris Speck, Kevin Bullard, and our team, they basically spun up a 24/7 response team that's still working. If a business owner needs to enroll, if they need to meet with our team, if they need us to walk them through enrollment, we'll be there at 3:00 in the morning, and we'll guarantee that they're enabled to start receiving payments within 3 minutes. I think that's remote facilitation, digital enrollment, digital engagement. We're basically like we're running to the fire, not kind of like pulling back from it at this point in time. But it's all because of remote capabilities.
That's a really good term, that you're running toward the fire. And it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, the reality is the vast majority of companies are massively being negatively impacted by what we're going through, and that's completely understandable. But it is going to be interesting to see what companies do see this pickup, right? Like you talked about, because of the capabilities you provide, right? That idea of getting, being able to get my payments. I mean, the reality is, I'm gonna sound like a genius, and everyone who's in this space knows this is like Fintech 101. Small businesses' number one issue is cash flow, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Did I get that right? I swear to God, if I got that wrong, I'll quit.
It's there's the Cash is King study by Chase that actually looked at close to 600,000 small businesses in 2017, 2016. The average number of days of cash reserve for small business owners, 27 days. That's the average across multiple types of industries. 25% of small businesses have less than 13 days of cash reserve. That was before the pandemic. So you can imagine now, what you're starting to see is that's being decimated. The good news is that we see, so because we've had a number of businesses online in our app for a while now, we've actually seen, knock on wood, many of our businesses, like the vast majority, Sam, have been able to maintain their deposits during this time because they're still able to send invoices or request payments through our payment form and still get paid. So there are definitely businesses that are being impacted. We're not going to be able to save every one of them. I'm not, acting as if that's the case. But the reality is that there still are customers that want to support these small businesses. So like use cases, like I love this story. Like I actually, was given a webinar last week, Sam, and I preempted the webinar was already pre-scheduled, right? So I had this topic I was giving, but we're in the middle of all this and we're just seeing these stories pour in. And I started the webinar with 3 stories of business owners, and I choked up, because we see it, we feel it, we hear it, and I just had to pause in the webinar because, I may even get a little choked up now, but dude, it's real. But when you see that people can enroll online and get paid, it's powerful. So we have a lady that manages a small furniture store in North Carolina that was used to people coming into her little craft mall section, right? We've all seen those, thousands of different retailers. People show up at her craft mall. She's selling trinkets and goods and things like that, end tables and antiques. And, people are transacting in person, whether that be cash check or a Square Stripe reader, and so that goes away. So she basically, business gets decimated because people can't come. She'd been getting the emails and calls from our team about Autobooks, but it never applied to her. This goes back to our jobs to be done. She never had the demand of needing to get paid at a distance. All of a sudden, now her whole business was transformed to, I need to get paid at a distance. She remembered our messaging. She calls into the team. Within an hour, Sam, she's enrolled in online payments. She's starting to take pictures of items, post them on her Facebook page. Customers are commenting, hey, I want that item. She's direct messaging them a payment form link that all they have to do is put in their name, their email, their credit card information. They get paid. She gets paid right back into her existing bank account. Customer gets an email receipt. So just think about the use cases we're seeing. We're seeing the biggest growth sector of our platform right now are nonprofits and churches. So you've got churches, huge. So just think about that. All the churches across the U.S. and nonprofits that really rely upon people coming together, right? Physically coming together, having, rallying around either their religion, their faith, or their nonprofit, cause. And then most of the time, those payments then are collected and gathered, kind of in person at the time. A lot of those organizations haven't yet moved to digital-based payments. And so we're onboarding churches on a regular basis. We're meeting with, just think the average church administrator. She's calling in and patching in their web administrator. We're helping them, navigate putting payment links on their website so that giving can take place online. So Kyle on our team's a member of a church, and he's kind of like one of the leading members of a church there in Detroit. His church has enabled digital payments. They've seen giving down 26%-ish. The other churches that they're talking to that haven't payment upwards of 50%. And so that just has a big impact on, there's businesses, there's nonprofits that, but if we just simply had the facility or had the ability for them to get paid online, how much of the cash flow buffer, how much of the time to getting the loan could we fill in the meantime, right? And that's really what we're trying to do.
We are asked a good question, right, Neil, who's in Uganda. I love this. We had listeners yesterday or people watching this from like South Africa, New Zealand, and everything else. So Neil's in Uganda, and he's asking, do you guys do any work overseas or just only in the U.S.? Any plans on international expansion yet?
Not yet. We're tied to the U.S. payment. Yeah, sorry, Neil. I sent him a message. I just touched my face. I think I'm up to 4. Well, it's on the side. Seven. Okay. Okay. So hey, I got to answer a question here. So Wade asks, many people have asked, how do customers enroll online quickly? So if I can cover that, Sam.
Yeah.
So Autobooks is a payment facilitator. So really, what we're doing as a fintech is we're bringing the power of fintech services, capabilities, payment facilitation, online enrollment, best practices with product design, et cetera, into the financial institution. So through our payment facilitation services, our integration into merchant gateways, other payment providers, we're able to enroll a business owner online within minutes. So just like they would a third-party fintech, we basically create and enable that capability inside of the banking institution today. So the good news is too, is because we're tied to the core banking systems in most cases, much of that information we gather from the core, pre-populate fields. We ask 7 to 8 questions about the business owner's type of business, average ticket size, annual revenue. And like I said, within minutes, they're enrolled in payments.
All right, so we have another question from one of my favorite people. Hello, Corey LeBlanc. Love you. With Fortune Bank in Louisiana.
Inked banker right there.
Banker, ex-Air Force, guy who looks like he's 20 years old and isn't. Is Autobooks seeing an SMB adoption percentage increase over the past 30 days compared to the previous averages? And that's a good question, because the reality is, we all know this data is everything right now.
Yep.
But our especially being cooped up like this, our sense of time, I think, has shifted for everybody. You know,
yeah, totally.
We're saying, we look back at 30 days and we're like, oh my God, that seems like 5 years ago. But a good question. Are you seeing a significant increase?
We are. So, as I said, a lot of those untraditional use cases that we didn't see before are popping in, but we get a lot of feedback from businesses that have been saying, I've been thinking about doing this for a long time. I've wanted to do this, and now, just kind of forced to be, having to. We follow up with all these business owners too, and the overwhelming sense that we get back from them is like, I'm never going back. It's this easy to send a digital invoice or share a payment form, get paid online. Everything dead ends in my financial institution. I'm never going back. So, to that end, I don't know how much time we have, Sam, here, but we do have a special announcement. So do I need to make this now or later?
Yeah, you have as many minutes as the time that you touched your face. So you have 7 minutes. We're going to stop it.
7 minutes. Okay.
7 minutes. So here you go. What's the announcement?
I do want to announce that today we're going to make Autobooks available nationwide to every small business owner, without the requirement of integrating Autobooks inside of the financial institution. And so here's the plan of attack. So we understand that many financial institutions want to enable businesses to accept online payments, but the reality is in our environment, there are just forces of time that we cannot compress. So when it comes to core integration, SSO implementations, trainings of frontline staff, et cetera, business owners just don't have time, right? They don't have time for the processes that it takes to integrate technology in today's banking ecosystem. And so what we've decided to do is we're feverishly working on standing up a version of Autobooks that's available to every small business across the US. But here's the kicker. We're doing it in partnership with financial institutions. Even though we're enabling business owners to go directly to get.autobooks.co, we're going to partner with financial institutions because the digital credential that they use to come in, so the starting point of the application is they have to authenticate with their existing digital banking credential.
Right.
The credential they use to come in, that's where the funds are going to be deposited. They cannot change that. We don't have our own closed system going to make sell them into a credit product or a loan product. We're not Square. We're not PayPal. We're pro bank, as we said earlier.
Right.
And so the way we want to partner, Sam, with financial institutions is we simply just want to say, we're going to make our app available. We would like for you to recommend to your customers that if they need to get paid online, they use Autobooks, they don't use Square, they don't use PayPal. So whenever a customer calls into your call center, refer them to us. Refer them to us because they can't then move those deposits somewhere else, but they need to get paid online. We will then build up the data set of which businesses have enrolled. We'll then go back to you, the financial institution, and say, hey, there's great news. You have 500 businesses in your community that have enrolled in Autobooks for digital payments. Let's talk about an integration strategy. After this pandemic calms down, after we have time, we want this inside of your digital banking channel. We believe there's power in better small business tools inside of digital banking. We've got 1,000 ideas about where this goes next, how we can use the data, better serve the business owners, and we need the full access of the banking product suite. we can't do that outside in our own digital channel. We don't want to be a direct-to-consumer brand, but now's not the time to work on implementation queues. Now's the time to get our app in front of small businesses so that they can start transacting online.
You know, here's what I find amazing, and because we're kind of up against it, we're going to have to kind of end here. But every question that was out there, we will get to, I promise. We're all more or less being forced to work virtually, right? As we should. So we don't have the social interaction day to day, seeing the people, being able to reach across, physically and talk with them and meet and do that. I haven't flown on a plane for 4 weeks. That has to be like a record, by the way. It has to be over the past 30 years of my life that I haven't been on a plane. Yeah. I know, it feels really weird. Yeah, even though the airlines keep sending me an email every day, which is nice of them to let me know what their plan of attack is. Yeah, they are thinking about me. But the reality is the concept of community right now is more important than ever. It is. I mean, it just flat out is. Companies working together, coming up with solutions they can implement incredibly fast, because speed is everything, but the sense of community. I said this, I think, on the podcast Monday, or on the show Monday. This is the time people will remember, right? If you try to do anything of jacking up prices or taking advantage of the situation, coming out of 2008, we talked about people switching their banks, and we really didn't see the numbers that supported that. This time, I think people will remember. I really do. This is the time for ethics. This is the time for community, and this is the time for empathy. And I know the team at Autobooks incredibly well. I know the values that y'all hold very well, and we do too. So Derik, thank you for coming on. What's the best place for the folks that have watched this to learn a little bit more? One about you, but also Autobooks.
Sure. So, I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. Twitter is at Derik, Derik Sutton. But just connect with us, www.autobooks.co. We've written actually a bunch of articles about COVID, about our approach with jobs to be done, how this get paid at a distance movement that we're embracing, and kind of the fire we're running towards. So if you're a financial institution, you care about small businesses, give us a call and we'll work something out with you.
All right, folks. As for me, at Sam Maule on Twitter. Follow 11FS. If you're really an early morning riser, watch David. He does one of these breakfast shows at an ungodly hour, probably like 4 a.m. I don't remember what time. Very early. 11FS page will show you that. So you can get 2 a day. We still have the podcast going out. So look at Fintech Insiders. Follow us. Tell folks about it. Derik Sutton.
My daughter. Yeah, everybody. So we're talking about fintech. We're talking about payments. She brought me coffee. She put a meme on there. It says boring. She's working like right over there. So hey, we like this stuff, right? But my daughter, boring.
No, that's what we do. But we do like this stuff. And again, from a community standpoint, from everybody from Uganda. Thank you, Anil. We had folks from Amsterdam, from London, from all over the world joining in today. And even Louisiana, Corey. Really do love you. Yeah. Tell Cassie I said hi. Thank you all so much for joining. Hopefully see you all tomorrow. Stay safe. Don't touch your face. Thanks.
Yeah. Take care.
10 times, Derik.